What is going on, everybody? This is Joe Gilpin from FloGrappling coming to you guys live from Sao Paulo. We have BJJ Stars 15, the history going on here tonight. You guys are seeing a video package setting up a lot of the show, showing some of the biggest moments that have happened with some of the people that we're going to see tonight. People showing respect to the legends, making their own stories happen. It's been an incredible time here with BJJ Stars. This is a big event for the company, considering it's the first time they're exclusively with us here on FloGrappling. Thank all you guys for joining us here for the English commentary stream. And we're back, guys. BJJ Stars is kicking off here in just a few minutes. Like we were talking about, it is a stacked card from top to bottom with some of the biggest competitors in all of jiu-jitsu making their way to the mats and making their way to the mat right now. FEPA always doing it up big, bringing out the marching band. Always have a show. Let's take a look at what these guys have going on for BJJ Stars. Here you're seeing the parade of champions as everyone who's going to take to the mats tonight in competition is coming out. Getting the feel of the crowd, getting the energy up, the crowd getting up with the marching band, with the drum line, getting everybody going, bringing the energy. Pepe Lopez always knows how to put on a show here in Sao Paulo, here for BJJ Stars, and this is no exception. All these guys coming out to get a little chance to stare down their opponent, taste the air, feel the energy of the room, and really get ready to put on a show tonight, because that's what it's about, not just coming out here and winning, coming out here and being a star, coming out here and put it on a show, something that people are going to remember. There's been some incredible moments made, some careers made here on the BJJ Stars mats, and there's a lot of opportunity out there with Worlds right around the corner and with some big money on the line tonight for all these guys to hop out there and really make something of themselves. It's been an incredible build-up. All these guys were looking fly and talking their talk yesterday at the press conference. Now tonight they're going to have to walk the walk. They're going to have to make their way out there for an ADCC rules-style Grand Prix, a bunch of modified IBJJF rules-style super fights between pound-for-pound talents, between some very exciting up-and-comers like that young man right there is going to be taken to the mats in the first fight. The two most recent absolute champions, Tayane Porfirio and Gabby Pisania, the queen of jiu-jitsu, the apex predator of women's jiu-jitsu, are going to be taken to the mats. There is no match on this card people are not going to be excited about. It's not going to deliver on action. I'm so excited for this. See everybody start to get ready. That's the man of the hour, Mica Galvao, the 2024 FloGrappling Grappler of the Year, Male Grappler of the Year. Had an incredible 2024 that people are going to talk about for years and years and years to come, where he won the Super Grand Slam, became the youngest man to ever do that, winning all 4 IBJJF majors, and on top of that, an ADCC World Championship. It was an absolutely unbelievable year. This year, he says he is back to hunt. Last year, he was kind of the hunted because he had set such a lofty goal. Everybody was out there trying to knock him off. This year, it's about hunting and going out there and finding challenges that he can take down. And he believes that this tournament is just the opportunity to do that. This is his chance to rise to the top of another weight class. He's the WNO champion at 170 pounds. Now he gets a chance to add the BJJ Stars belt here at 185 pounds. I believe he's also the 170-pound champion for BJJ Stars. It's an incredible career for the young Manaus star, who's already starting to think about an MMA career potentially in the future. Adam Wardzinski, Polish Butterfly, is going to take on Eric Muniz. It's been an incredible night. It's going to be an incredible night as we start to...
O maior evento de lutas casadas do mundo é do Brasil. Vamos fazer barulho para Angelus, França, Weverton Martins, Leonardo Ferreira, Igor Brito, Neyhan Maquiné, Diogo Reis, Tayane Porfírio, Gabriele Peçanha, Adam Wardzinski, Eric Muniz, Mica Galvão, Jonatas Gracie, Rafael Paganini, Oliver Taza, Roberto Jimenez, John Blanks, Izaak Michell e Alaide Dorsey. Vamos fazer barulho porque agora o bicho vai pegar. A chapa vai esquentar daquele jeito que só vocês conhecem como é o BJJ Stars. Atletas, por favor, podem se retirar. Vamos cumprimentar primeiro, por favor. Podem se cumprimentar, por gentileza. E na sequência, podem deixar o tatame porque a primeira guerra vai dar início neste exato momento. Lembrando, gente, serão 5 lutas casadas, 2 valendo cinturão, inclusive também tem luta feminina valendo o cinturão, tá certo? E sem contar que
here you see everybody coming, giving the show respect. All respect here. Everybody just wanted to put on the best show they can, show that they're the best, show that they've been training hard and doing their thing. A lot of great fights, like we were talking about Mayram, the world champion last year at 70 kilo. Mayram Makin coming out here is going to take on Diogo Reis, the ADCC world champion from last year. It's IBJJF world champion, ADCC world champion, meeting at BJJ Stars. Those are the kind of fights that BJJ Stars just so regularly produces. Those guys are both absolutely world class. They've risen to the top of jiu-jitsu. They're going to meet here tonight for the 3rd time, having gone 1-1 in their careers here at Black Belt. Absolutely unbelievable that we could get that one together on such a big night. You see the Sao Paulo crowd, always hot, always here to support their people. Everybody in there trains. It's a very knowledgeable crowd to come out here to a BJJ Stars. And I did happen to see WNO matchmaker Ricardo Amendolia in the crowd. So do not be surprised if you end up seeing some of these guys on big shows like Who's Number One in the future while he's down there scouting.
Programa do YouTube BJJ Stars. Confere. A primeira luta tem um oferecimento, então.
Like we were talking about a little bit earlier, Adam Wartzinski's going to come out here. He's going to take on maybe the toughest test of his career. Adam's had an absolutely incredible 2024 leading into 2025. He's won Pans, he's won Euros, he won Worlds, he won the Crown, he's won every gi tournament there is to win. After coming so close for so many years, he finally has broken through to being the man. And now he gets to take on the toughest test of his career when he takes on the absolute open class champion from last year, Eric Muniz. That's an incredible test. If he can win that, he's going to be the #1 pound-for-pound guy in the world. So that's a really incredible match for that Polish superstar. Unreal. Man, what exciting. So this is something that BJJ Stars does very well, is they have these up-and-comers, and they have such good scouting, because Pepa is always in these gyms, that they really pick these guys well. This is Angelus. This is Lucinha. Lucinha is an absolute buzzsaw down here at these lighter weights, at these lower weights. This kid's he's just a kid. He's a Mica Galvao product. Everybody at the Melky School is so high on him. They talk about his work ethic. They talk about his pressure. They talk about how he's one of those guys who's actually pushing Diogo Hayes in training every day, even though he just recently got that blue belt. He was a green belt. This is a kid who has moved away from his house to train professionally, even at a very young age. Angelus Lucinha is very tough. But Weverton, we're talking about a lot of the same story with Weverton here. He's also a great champion. He's won Brazilian Nationals, I believe, multiple times. He's an Alliance kid, local, very, very tough. I think he's going to be looking to play a little bit more guard here. I think Lucinha probably looking to pass, but both these guys can get it done everywhere. The color on their belt is blue. The level of their skills is black. There's no doubt. So I think we're in for a great, great match. Both these guys are future stars who are going to meet here tonight with a lot to prove in front of a big, big audience. Let's get it going. A lot of pressure on these two kicking off a big card like this. They both have a lot of people here in the crowd. You can see the Mica Galvao school, the BJJ college people are always there. Nice little foot sweep attempt and gets him down. Nice little scramble, and Weverton is going to end up on top and start to look to use his passing. These are mostly IBJJF rules. The only real difference is the penalty system. The penalties in IBJJF give you one more, so things are a little bit more restrictive. They want you to work a little bit more here in the BJJ Stars rule set, so keep that in mind anytime you see people in the gi. It's IBJJF rules. Anytime you see people in no-gi, we're going to be doing ADCC rules. You see Weverton here on top. I thought he was going to play a little bit more guard. That's what I've seen when I did the scouting. But he's on top. Like I said, both these guys can get it done everywhere. Nice little Choi bar attempt over the top, little straight arm bar attempt here for Lucinha, working from bottom. He threads that leg over the top. There's a very deep arm bar attempt now. He might be able to weave that leg through, but no, Weverton is able to slip the elbow, and now he's back into a nice passing sequence. Referee going to try to recreate this over in the center, checking where everybody's grips and hips are before we move everybody over. Might be a situation where we pull him, or are we just going to reset him? Just going to reset him. Lucinha, very effective this year in competition. Saw him absolutely dominate the field at IBJJF Euros. He looked incredible there. Really proved a lot to a lot of people, opened some eyes there. Was great. He's also won Brazilian Nationals before. Both these guys have won the Brazilian National Tournament before, which is also going on FloGrappling. If you guys have a FloGrappling subscription, you can also click over, watch Brazilian Nationals all week. Definitely recommend a ton of that great action as they recreate everybody here for our Blue Belt pals. Reset's very important in jiu-jitsu. You can never restart a position exactly where you left off. The momentum, the feel, the touch, a grip, something's always different. Somebody's always going to win or lose the reset. It looks like Lucinha did a great job of being able to thread a guard back in. He's got to be a little bit careful of this reap, but he's working into a nice single X guard. Fixes his right hand where he almost got a penalty for an illegal grip, but it fixed it up nice. He's really doing his best to off-balance Weverton, who's really basing well as he starts to step out of this X guard. With that long frame, that's exactly what he wants to do. There's also back take options if he feels so inclined. Yep. Wasn't able to make it happen, comes back out on top. But some really solid work from top from Weverton, even though he's not able to pass yet. Lucinha closes down the guard. I think that's a good idea for him to be able to try to slow things down here now. He got, some not great positions. It's time to recompose the fight, recompose the guard, lock that guard down and start to work. Weverton breaking well, though. Notice that lasso guard coming in on the left side. That's what's keeping it from being a pass right now, is that lasso hook that he has. Lucinha trying to roll up on top and potentially even find his way to a leg. Weverton, good base, good balance. Weverton very, very good on top. You're seeing that he's able to really stay calm in some of these positions. He throws that by. It looks like Lucinha's going to try to come up and wrestle his way up. This is a critical moment in the fight. Weverton needs to sprawl those hips down, but he kicks up over the top. He's thinking armbar. Not quite there, and Lucinha's going to wrestle through this position. Big moment for Lucinha. So they're going to call that an advantage for Weverton for that near pass. And because it was a reversal coming from a negative position, they're actually not going to give Lucinha the points there. They're calling that essentially an escape from like side control, or a reversal rather from side control. So now it's Lucinha's turn on top. He's going to have to make something happen here as Weverton gets the advantage and now gets to play a little bit more defensive if he so chooses, or is he going to open up? This is a big pay-per-view show, and he may feel so inclined to really open up. It's not just enough to win. You want to win in style when you come to a big show like this. Lucinha finding angle. Is that enough for the judges, though? Looks like he'll need a little bit more, but that's a very encouraging sign for the young Amazon product. I believe he's an Amazon product. In fact, I believe he's a Manowara. You know what they say about that Manowara pride. The Manowaras do not like to lose to another non-Manowara. They feel a lot of cultural pride in that. So he's got about a minute to work here. Big stack. He's finding the angle. There's the north-south. He's going to get that. Big push late is going to put Franca up by 3. That was a very, very gritty pass to be able to get through the frames and grips of Weverton Martinez. You can hear the Melky folks getting loud. Moves his way to the armbar. Looks like Weverton going to be okay. He needs a way to points if he wants a way to win this fight. A back take isn't out of the equation, but the time is not his friend. And Lucinha going to move his feet, engage the guard one more time, and he's going to be the one to pick up the win in this showcase match for these two young blue belts. I feel like they both showed a lot of skills, but it is that man, Angelus Lucinha Martinez, Lucinha coming away with the victory. An incredible performance from him. It was that late pass and the grittiness and the toughness that he showed there that gets him the win tonight, showing off for his people, for the audience there, people who came to cheer him on. Incredible performance from that young man. I think people are going to hear a lot about him in a few years. This is a great first step to that. Remember Lucinha, guys. He's going to be a great prospect coming out of that Melky school.
O grande campeão da nossa primeira luta do BJJ Stars confere. Uma salva de palmas para Angelus, França!
The young Manowara gets it started for the Melky team. They're going to have Diogo Reis and Mica Galvao later on in the card here.
Recebendo o troféu do BJJ
If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can head over to FloGrappling, get the subscription, get us for a month, get us for a year. You're going to be able to watch Brazilian Nationals this month. You're going to be able to watch Worlds coming up. You're going to be able to watch the rest of this card, including the finals of that Grand Prix tournament. Guys like Adam Wardzinski are going to be in action, Diogo Reis, Mayra, Mika, Roberto. What a night of action. Gabi Pisani, of course, the queen of jiu-jitsu. Congratulations to Big Lucinha celebrating there with that trophy, befitting the champions here of the event.
Melhores momentos no telão.
Here you see the replay. This really was an important reversal. Even though he doesn't get the points. You see Lucinia wrestle up out of this armbar attempt. I think Weverton is going to be kicking himself that he didn't commit fully to that. It was kind of in between whether or not he was going for the armbar or not. Lucinia ends up on top, and from there he's going to end up getting that pass into the north-south and get the points that end up being the deciding factor there. So important. He goes for the stack. Weverton trying to invert his way back in and get some kind of guard going. Nothing doing. There's the north-south. Once he stabilizes, that was the fight. And you see this armbar attempt from Lucinia where he tries to sit back into this shotgun-style armbar with the overwrap grip on the elbow. It's a very, very tight position, but Weverton, savvy to it, able to try to step over, step through, keep himself safe. But overall, it was enough for Lucinia to pick up the win. Absolutely a great performance. He should be.
Som. Ô, se salve, gente amiga. Mais uma vez, uma enorme alegria fazer parte da história do BJJ Stars, do BJJ Stars Stories, na redundância. Lutinha da espécie Angelus, brabos, sinistros. Como é que você se sente diretamente do BJJ Confere para o BJJ Stars 15 History e com uma apresentação, uma performance digna de faixa preta.
Então, boa noite pra galera. Estou muito feliz com a minha performance, né? Trabalhei junto com a equipe muito bem comprometida aí com o seu trabalho. Agradeço a todo mundo que veio assistir também, falando já pro Ferpa aí que quero estar aqui já outras vezes. Como ele pôde vir, não tenho medo de tamanho, pode ser quem for. É só ele botar o nome que eu quero estar aqui outras vezes. Mas deixando esse recado aí pra ele. Obrigado a todo mundo que assistiu, meu professor. E é isso, vamos pro próximo.
Uma enorme alegria poder entrevistar alguém que usa um kimono a zero, que nem o meu. Queria a sua opinião, o seu prognóstico. Quem vence o GP, quem vence o torneio No-Gi?
A minha torcida sempre vai ser pro Mika, né? Tenho certeza que ele vai sair campeão.
É isso aí. By the order of Funky Milk Blinders. É com você, Roman.
That's Lucinia, everybody. They gave a little Peaky Blinders shout out because all the boys were dressed in their Peaky Blinders best yesterday at the press conference. You can head over to the FloGrappling Instagram if you want to take a look at that. It was quite the time. Those guys are always looking for a way to put on a nice show. We're going to be right back, getting the Grand Prix started, I believe, so don't go anywhere.
Vamos dar continuidade então, gente. Agora, bom, o bicho já pegou.
And we're back. We're going to bring our second match of the night out. They just asked Lucinia, by the way, what his who he thought was going to win the Grand Prix. You can guess. The guy wearing the Mica Galvao patch on his arm went ahead and said he is going to favor Mica Galvao in this match coming up. I believe this match is going to be our first round of the BJJ Stars Grand Prix, which is happening at 83 kilos. It is 183 pounds, basically middleweight. We have 8 of the top middleweights in the world, guys who have all proven themselves at the world level. It is an absolutely stacked bracket. I actually think it's become more stacked with time, and we are seeing that. We're going to start with John Blanc, top 4 2019 ADCC, 10th planet. He is replacing PJ Barch. He is an incredible competitor. He's a great leg locker who was just in the finals of Black Belt No-Gi Pans in 2024. His false read is one of the best on the planet. He's taking on Mika first round. He's got the thing that Mika historically has been weaker against than anything else. If you want a path to victory against Mika, none of them are easy. But the footlock seems to be a key for a lot of guys. I don't know that we have a better leg locker in this field than John Blanc. So this is a very dangerous first-round matchup. There's, of course, questions with John, considering he's a late replacement. How's the cardio? Was he really dialed in for this? Was there a difficult weight cut? But, man, he's going to come out here hot and heavy. He's a very experienced competitor. Can't wait to see it. And here's the man of the hour, the 2024 FloGrappling Male Grappler of the Year. The young star from Manaus, Mica Galvao, makes his way to the mat. He is a submission machine, incredible takedowns, great guard passing, back takes like you've never seen before, flies his way into submissions, very mentally strong. We see him get it done in the gi, we see him get it done no-gi. This guy is a machine, and he has a big goal tonight to come out here and prove something, up a weight class from his usual 170 pounds. It's his first competition of the year. It's his first competition under a big new deal with FloGrappling that we just signed that we're all very, very excited about. We all know Mika's one of the best. This is a very, very cool matchup to start this Grand Prix with here. You see the belt, that is a luta livre accoutrement. That is what the luta livre guys wear. A little bit different compared to the No-Gi grappling guys.
Pela primeira vez na história do BJJ Stars, GP categoria peso médio, no-gi, sem kimono. Árbitro central, André Bastos, que vence o melhor.
We do have official ADCC refs in the building for this. This is a 7-minute fight with a potential 3.5-minute overtime. 3.5 minutes, points are going to come into effect here in the opening round. John, who can sometimes be, yep, there's the pull-up saying he's going to wrestle with him a little bit more. John actually does have a wrestling background that I feel like not everybody's aware of, actually out there in Pennsylvania. But very, very effective guard player over time. You're going to see him play with those inside foot position guards, butterfly guard, half butterfly, trying to get to his X guards, potentially leg entanglements, as Mika is dropping down. I feel like we don't... There's a nice knee slide pass for Mika, not able to establish anything, but he's just working his way through the guard as John, who is very physically powerful, continues to move forward. John, you see him trying to jump into those guards so he can get a good entanglement on Mika. That says to me he feels like Mika's pulling back a little bit and trying to play with a little bit more distance. Mika not necessarily trying to dive into the guard, even though we have seen him throw in some knee slides. He's keeping his distance. Yep, you see him backstepping a little bit, trying to cook this match and make his work happen a little bit later maybe. Yep, a lot more outside passing from Mika so far. John doing a good job of, even though he's getting put flat on his back, coming up and working out of those positions and sitting up and wrestling up and forcing engagements. That's a good guard player. That's the mark of a good guard player in no-gi, is somebody who's constantly forcing engagements and not just letting somebody stand on the outside. But Mika keeping his base, keeping his balance, keeping positions that he's very comfortable with. He understands how dangerous Thor is for these kind of matches, especially early where he doesn't have a sweat going. You know, it's going to be an issue. Five minutes remaining. Remember, we are in no points until 3.5 minutes are on the clock. And so right now, there's a nice pass, and Mika able to establish, but it's that far side underhook that's the real danger. Mika, a real killer with those arm bars. So watch a potential move to that far side because of that isolation of that arm. Really strong guard pass from Mika. Was able to time one of those moves in from John and blast his way through the guard. Really, really great timing from the young Manawara. John understands, you know, he's really accomplished in an ADCC rule set. He understands that he hasn't given up any points yet. Definitely not a good position. Definitely has some submission danger. But right now he still is in a tied 0-0 match, despite the positional game that's happened so far. Mika now working to a north-south. This is interesting. Potentially trying to look for Kimura maybe, or even a north-south choke. I feel like the north-south choke has become kind of a hot topic after Marcelo started coming back with it. Points are active. So Mika will not receive any points for anything he's done yet. That pass will never give him any points. But anything he does from now on, for example, a knee on belly or a mount, that would earn him points. So even just ending up in a good position, oh, there's a back take. There's a back take. John's going to use it to escape. Good flexibility from the savvy vet, John Thor Blanc. But now Mika going to be feeling a little bit more confident, and John Blanc, the late replacement in this Grand Prix, and the older man may be feeling it a little bit more, having carried Mika and his weight for a long time there in side control. Good knee slide position here from Mika, deep in the split squat, trying to get to the head, unable to. John doing a good job framing, good job staying dangerous. But Mika works his way into a smash pass and then hops to the side. This is going to be points all the way to mount. Incredible sequence from the young world champion. He works his way all the way to the mount in a matter of seconds. He has that arm up, might be looking to finish the fight with that. But that's going to put him comfortably ahead on the scoreboard here with about 2 minutes remaining. Mika always looking to finish. His submission rate is very, very high, even against very elite competition. And in a one-night tournament like this, there's no telling how beneficial it is to be able to finish matches early, get off the mat early. If somebody can come out here in one of these matches and score a very, very quick, decisive submission, then they're going to put themselves at a huge advantage later in the tournament. Now, with a minute left, is that as big of a deal? Not as much, but it can also be a good confidence boost heading into the next round that this last guy couldn't survive with you. And so now you see him work off to the knee on belly. That, to me, signals that he doesn't want to just stay in mount. He wants to stay dangerous and aggressive here, and he's looking for a way to finish this fight if he can find it. Also impressive, the belt has stayed tied. Usually you see that thing come off pretty quick. Back to an open guard. John Blanc, always dangerous, like we said. Still able to get to legs, still able to make things happen, but Mika up 3 points. And he's the one bringing tempo, bringing action. Good little pass by to the side. And then puts himself right back into that split squat. Half butterfly for John Blanc.
People loves you, John.
And it looks like Mica Galvao is going to be able to advance here in the first round of the Grand Prix unless John Blanc is able to make something very dramatic happen here in the last few seconds. Mika hopping off to the side. And John Blanc is able to free his head. Mika, like we talked about, always looking for the submission. Tried to hop on that side katagatame, which he's been refining. If you want to find a little bit more information on how Mika approaches that side katagatame, you can actually find that on our YouTube channel right now. You can also find that up on FloGrappling, the site itself. So obviously a lot of information out there about that. That's something that Mika's been working on. We might see that come back a little bit later in the tournament. But here in the first round, 3-0, Mica Galvao gets it done. I think John Blanc actually looked.
Temos o nosso primeiro vencedor da primeira luta das quartas de final. Parabéns, Mica Galvão. Melhores momentos no telão para todos vocês.
The young grappling star gets it done. He's going to move on to take on the winner of Elijah Dorsey and Rafael Paganini. We're going to fight coming up here in just a few minutes. But he looks awesome in the first round. His guard passing is really what gets it done. You can see here, he times that guard jump that John was using and knee slides very effectively through the guard. Really, it's timing. It's thousands and thousands of reps. And here you see that smash pass position. He's going to hop over with a hip switch into a leg drag position, and then he's going to knee slide his way over into the mount. And boom, that was ultimately the deciding factor in the match on the scoreboard. that kind of fluidity and pressure is really hard for anybody to recreate. And there you see him countering that wrestle-up attempt from John Blanc, trying to get that side kagatame. It's an arm triangle. It's not a guillotine. Trying to get that going, not able to make it happen. And you see the stanced-up Mica Galvao picking up the victory.
Estilos partem de ser forte. Beba com moderação.
Eleve o nível de segurança e tecnologia da sua academia com os tatames Prime Sports, a única empresa no mundo a fabricar os 4 tipos de tatames. Preços de fábrica e instalação em todo o Brasil. Prime Sports. Tatame não é tudo igual.
Vamos continuar então, BJJ Stars, 15ª edição, maior evento.
We are back. We are going to keep the Grand Prix rolling here into the second fight. We're going to have 7 Grand Prix fights tonight for the 8 competitors. This fight is going to be Elijah Dorsey, who had an incredible breakout run through the ADCC season last time. He is going to be coming in and taking on... sorry, it's different fights. Izaak Michell taking on Roberto. This is actually the first round fight I am most excited for, so I am super pumped that we're going to see this. We're starting with Izaak. I remember meeting Izaak. He was a young purple belt. That had to be like 2018, just a young kid out of Australia. He has really developed into one of jiu-jitsu's best wrestlers. His guard passing is absolutely incredible, especially his loose passing. He has a motor for days. He was the Who's Next reality show champion with us. He's fought for the 205-pound title. He has been on the steady come-up through the grappling world, and I think here tonight he has an incredible opportunity to pick up some big wins that really I think he needs in his career to take a step onto that next level, right? He's just under truly like #1 kind of guy status, and he needs some big wins to be able to get that done. A win against a guy like Roberto Jimenez, who is an absolute samurai, and I'm so excited to see him. It'll be absolutely huge.
Roberto Jimenez.
Roberto, like I said, total samurai. This guy's a natural rebel. This guy is on an incredible run for his career right now, where he's coming out, putting up submission of the year contenders like he did on Who's #1 against Elder. He's having great runs through the gi like he did at Pants, facing Adam in an absolutely epic final that you can find on the FloGrappling site, and I think it's on our YouTube too. Roberto's been on one of the best runs of his career, and he's been doing it up in weight. Now he's coming back down to 185 pounds, where I actually think he's kind of perfectly suited. He said that everything worked out perfectly. He's super excited to get in there and make it happen. This is an incredible fight between really 2 top guys at 185. I think this could, in many, many tournaments, be a final, and we're getting here. Same thing, 7 minutes, 3.5-minute potential overtime. Roberto has been wrestling a lot more, but you try to predict Roberto Jimenez. Good luck. Little chippy at the beginning. That is nothing personal. Roberto, if he ever tries to shake your hand, will never shake your hand. He shakes your forearm. And Izaak did not expect that and did not appreciate it. And so he let him know. Roberto jumps right in for the flying armbar, but Izaak saw it coming. He saw that elder tape. He's not gonna let that happen. Man, Roberto is such a gunslinger, maybe the #1 gunslinger in the sport right now. Now Izaak coming around to the back, and they go out of bounds. These guys are going to have a lot of exchanges. You can feel it early. This match is going to be frenetic. Izaak shooting in, big blast double. Puts him all the way down, but Roberto gets all the way back up. Awesome, awesome action early from these two. Roberto working his way back in. He's going to be a little bit more physically powerful here at 185 pounds. He's been competing up at 205 a lot, trying to be the smaller, faster guy. Now he's a little bit more on that same plane with everybody. I think he's going to have a little bit more power than we're used to seeing from Roberto. Roberto trying to peel off 2-on-1s. He's the one moving forward. He's the one digging at Izaak. Izaak trying to play a very measured, strategic pace. He's going to try to be the much more strategic guy in this fight. Roberto's a kitchen sink all the time guy. He's so experienced that he can really make that happen in a lot of different ways, right? He doesn't need one path to victory. Big exchanges out by the edge. Roberto gets him down, but they're going to stand right back up. It's a lot of this. They're going to put him down. They're going to ask Izaak to get down after that takedown. They're going to call that a successful takedown attempt, or at least a continuous motion that they're going to be able to restart. Now we're up here in the single leg. Izaak defending with that overhook. Whizzing hard on this. Able to limp leg out, turn and face. Good defense there on the single leg from Izaak Michell. Everybody knows he works a lot with a lot of some of the best wrestlers in the world, like Bo Nickel and Jason Nolf. Those guys are always helping him sharpen up his wrestling. He's turned into a really incredible takedown artist here in submission grappling. And we've seen that here. We've seen that in his ADCC trials runs. We've seen some awesome double legs just here tonight, like we were talking about. 1 minute until points. I feel like both these guys have felt each other out a little bit. They're going to keep pounding, keep hand fighting, but once those points hit, I feel like these guys are going to open up a little bit more, especially the wrestling-heavy Izaak is being very strategic, pretty smart right now, and waiting for points to come on, because you can score all the double legs you want, but if they don't show up on the scoreboard, then what are you really accomplishing if he's getting right back up? Roberto, who does have a wrestling base of his own, shoots in. Izaak catches him coming in, and we get back up to our feet. Roberto wrestled in high school, which I feel like not a lot of people are aware of. I don't know if he was throwing all his flying arm bars then. Shot into short offense from Izaak, tries to spin around, not able to make it happen. And we're going to be in the points here in just a second. I think this is where the match really heats up. This thing's on a razor's edge. Both these guys are shooting. Both these guys are able to defend. It was a very, very even match in 3.5. But you see, oh, big trip attempt and your takedown attempt out to the edge. Pushing, shoving, a lot of action off the mat between Izaak Michell, who's the first one back, and Roberto Jimenez. They were both attacking. They're off the mat. Not sure who got the better of it, but things are heated right now between these two. The competitive fires are out. Both guys now taking a second to recompose themselves. Those are ADCC style rules, right? They're well known for that. Some people love that, some people not so much. But there is continuous action until the referee says stop. If that means off the mat, that means off the mat. And if you're going to be the person defending the takedown and you let yourself get pushed all the way to the edge of the mat, then that's just fair game. And Izaak does a great job there, snapping him down, using a push-pull reaction there off those double underhooks. But Roberto slips out. Both guys fighting hard here. Another shot on the edge. Izaak times the shot well, but Roberto able to limp leg out. Always going to be a little bit easier to limp leg out in grappling without the shoe on compared to wrestling. So guys are able to turn that knee and just kick away a lot freer than they are in something like freestyle or folk style wrestling. Head posts, collar ties. These guys brawling a little bit in the hand fight, letting each other feel it. Definitely going to be feeling it whoever wins this in their next match. But when you have two world-class guys like this, the margins are very slim. And you know, guys are going to try to find those advantages however they can. Roberto doing a lot of tap into the head, trying to get a reaction out of that, almost like a boxer with a jab, trying to set a rhythm and then ducks underneath of it. But Izaak, very heavy hips. Very hard to get a good deep shot on Izaak Michell. He's worked a lot on that sprawl, and he's got a very muscular frame that's hard to work through. Good single, but Roberto trying to cut that angle to the back. Izaak grabs the overhook and bails. Now Roberto in on the leg. Great scramble. He's cleared the knee. We're into this same single leg position they were in earlier. 45 seconds on the clock. Roberto trying to grab a little bit of grip. If you're Roberto, you got to get him moving a little bit. You got to move your feet. You got to get him to start having to catch his balance so you can get him in between steps. And if you're Izaak, you got to start to clear that knee and then be able to limp leg away like they've both been able to do throughout this match. But 20 seconds on the clock, it's totally feasible that he could wait out this position and then start to strike once they get into overtime. Roberto working his way to the back, big suplex! Big return from Roberto Jimenez, who's now going to chase the back with short time left on the clock. Izaak escapes. But that was an incredible moment from the young South American star Roberto Jimenez. The power on display here in this 83-kilo Grand Prix. If this was freestyle, it would be a 5, potentially a 4. But it would be certainly some kind of amplitude. We're going to overtime. Tied 0-0, referee checking just to make sure with the side table that nothing was given for that takedown. I don't believe anything should be. We are going to be going to overtime here. Both these guys feeling it. Both these guys want to continue. Both these guys loving the energy from this Brazilian crowd. Nobody brings the energy quite like these BJJ Stars crowds, right? They're so knowledgeable. They're right on top of the action. Here we go. Oh,
Meus
wow.
amigos, que luta. Vamos fazer barulho, gente, porque essa luta foi muito boa. What a fight, guys! What a fight, guys. Congratulations. Por decisão, o vencedor é Roberto Jimenez.
And Roberto Jimenez picks up the win here. I believe it was that late takedown action that gave him the nod here in the judges. I'm not sure if they awarded points or maybe they just called the decision after the initial regulation. But Roberto Jimenez gets his hand raised. He's going to be the one moving on. Incredible fight. The announcers call it out. Both those guys left it all out. There's some awesome takedown exchanges. Roberto with that late exchange is able to be the winner. He advances on. He's going to take on the winner of Jonatas and Oliver. Look, early in the fight, it was early and late for Roberto. He makes that big pull. Izaak right back with that big double. And this was, I think, that big fight off the mat that these guys had, where these guys were really scrambling and struggling and throwing submissions and pushing each other into the chairs. If you're sitting mat side in an ADCC rules match, you got to understand what that means, unfortunately. And this is that big jump to the back that Roberto makes. Frees his hips, wrestles his way back into the leg. And that would then set up the duck around and the big takedown. That's a giant throw onto the shoulder. Look at that. Unreal. Roberto, he has been putting together an incredible 2025 highlight reel, and he adds another one here. That's an enormous win for him over Izaak. He's advancing to the top 4. He's got his eyes on number 1. What an awesome, awesome fight, guys. We'll be back.
Estilos partem de ser forte. Viva com moderação.
Então, gente, vamos para mais um combate aqui no BJJ Stars, edição 15ª. Já temos, então, Mica Galvão e Roberto Jimenez, já 2 grandes semifinalistas. Agora a gente conhece mais um. Oferecimento Future, representando a equipe Lloyd Irving. Elijah
Okay, guys, we are back
Dorsey.
here at BJJ Stars. We are in the middle of the Grand Prix.
Elijah.
2 of the first fights are done. Mica Galvao wins his match 3-0. Roberto Jimenez advances over Izaak. Great match of the night so far. And now we're moving into the 3rd round where Elijah Dorsey is going to take on Rafael Paganini. These are actually the 2 guys who started to jaw back and forth a little bit about who is going to be better, who do you want to see in the 1st round, who's the easy draw. Both these guys said, I want to fight this guy. Elijah, I want to fight Rafael. Rafael, I want to fight Elijah. And they're going to meet here on the BJJ Stars match. This is Elijah Dorsey. He was top 4 ADCC. Picked up wins over Dante Leon. Ever heard of him?
E
Picked up a win over JT Torres. Ever heard of him? Incredible accomplishments. Won ADCC trials. Picked up a win in the finals over Nicky Ryan. Ever heard of him? This kid has been on an absolutely incredible run. For my money, maybe the most underappreciated grappler on the planet right there. Elijah Dorsey. He's coming out. He's taking on Rafael Paganini, who's been on a great run of his own. He's getting credited as Dream Art. I've been seeing this guy training with the New Wave team here in Austin, Texas for a while now. Every time I hop in, he's in there training with guys like Giancarlo Bodoni and Oliver Taz and some of the best guys in the world in there. And so I think he's going to have some extra tricks coming in here tonight, potentially. Training with a team of that quality. But Elijah, man, one of the best there is. Coming up from 170 where he usually is. Paganini, maybe a little bit more naturally big guy. He is won before at BJJ Stars. He's a 2-time Brazilian No-Gi national champion. One of the best in Brazil, no doubt. And, man, you don't think there's pressure on these guys? These guys both said, I want to fight the other guy because I think he's the easy draw. That's pressure. That's signing yourself up for something where you really can't afford to take that loss, can you? At least your ego is going to be in trouble if you do. Rafael pulls. Elijah going to work from top. We saw Elijah, when he fought somebody like Nicky Ryan, was able to use his loose passing to huge effect. People kind of got on him for just having a very fundamental game at the time. Guys, fundamentals are what gets the job done. Oh, that wasn't very fundamental. He jumps up over the top. Elijah looking to diversify his game a little bit, but now Paganini into the legs, and Elijah steps out. Love to see young Dorsey flying up over the top and making it happen. Man, it was really awesome seeing him come out at ADCC and have an awesome run. Placed top 4, placed 4th, picking up some of the wins like we talked about over really, really experienced guys. I mean, Dante's one of the best guys pound for pound. Was the guy that everybody was talking about. He drops in on a leg. Paganini counters. Now Paganini looking to make it happen. Paganini looking for outside attacks. Tries to wrestle up, and Dorsey kicks his way free. Dorsey, very effective now. Originally just a lot more of a gi guy. Grew up very much as a gi guy, as a gi kids competitor. But he has really developed the no-gi skills, especially the ability to kick and high step and get out of those dangerous leg entanglements. Paganini chasing those dangerous leg entanglements, which you love to see. Elevates him. Dorsey starting to apply a little bit more pressure. Remember, 3.5 minute mark, points will come into effect. Everything up until then is sub only, essentially. Paganini starting to agitate now from bottom and push in and collar tie and just agitate and try to make something happen, try to draw reactions that he can build from. As Dorsey moves his way to the angle, nice deep pass attempt. You see Paganini trying to hold on to legs, potentially think about some kind of K-guard, work his shins back in where he's going to eventually be able to recompose the guard, and he does. But that's a lot of energy. Think about that, right? We have 1 minute until points. Who's working harder than the other person? I'm not saying Paganini necessarily is, but if you work much harder than your opponent and it doesn't show up on the scoreboard, it usually isn't a great sign for the rest of the fight. So that's a lot of what these ADCC strategists do in no points. If they can't submit you, they're at least going to make you work. And I think we're seeing that strategy from the very strategically sound Elijah Dorsey. I think that's part of what makes him so good, is that he is very strategically sharp. He always comes in with a solid plan, him and his team, and he's really, really smart about executing that and sticking to the game plan, keeping it simple, sticking to the game plan. You see him move to the angle here, but Paganini staying right there with him. Paganini not out of this by any respect. And now he's going to be able to catch his breath a little bit. 30 seconds left. Both guys taking stock of the fight now that we're 3 minutes in. Dorsey finds his way to an angle. You see him using some of this leg pin passing. We are into points now, where these things are going to matter a little bit more. The exchanges have to be in. He's deep into a pass. Tries to find the angle. Paganini spins. They're going to reset to the center. It's been Dorsey's loose passing. It's been Dorsey's loose passing and his ability to cut in when he needs to for a big advantageous position, usually north-south, that have been the difference for him in this matchup so far. Paganini is going to need to find some way to work up and engage differently if he wants to change the way the tenor of this fight is shaping up. Two and a half minutes remain. You see another knee slide into a north-south position, but you see that left shin of Paganini as being a real problem, staying inside there, but Dorsey now cuts back to a new angle. He's got a deep body lock, but he's going to be unable to establish a pass, rather, as Paganini draws his way in, and Paganini starting to scoop at that leg, starting to make himself a nuisance here on bottom, but he lets it go. That's usually a sign that there's deep pressure coming. You can see his hands starting to bench press and push and frame as he finds ways to ameliorate that pressure and keep that pressure off of him and deal with that from the young TLI product. Knee slides out again. He's been very effective at that, and the reason is he's not knee sliding through. He's knee sliding out over the shin rather than over the thigh, and that puts him into a space where then he is further away and he's cutting the space off by jumping over to north-south, right? It's that sideways knee slide, jump to north-south idea that some guys use very well. He's using very well here tonight. You can see a great example of it here tonight, rather than trying to fight directly through the guard. Minute 15 left for these guys. Dorsey pummels his way free again. Something I'd like to see from him is start to, yes, I was going to say start to diversify which side you're passing to, and as soon as I say that, he starts to do it. Now he's got a great look at the back as Paganini turtles. There's a good seatbelt here for him. Paganini able to get his back to the mat. But there's a deep, deep half guard position for Dorsey, who's going to probably look to try to pressure and pass his way through this position as he pins his way down, his opponent down. .30 seconds left. This is a really, really critical position for both these guys. Dorsey, if he can score, is going to be able to finish the match right here. Paganini needs to hold on to give himself a chance in the overtime. Late push. 5 seconds out. He got out with 5 seconds left. A late push from Elijah Dorsey may have just won him this match and put him into the semifinals here at BJJ Stars. The time on the clock when that leg came out was 5 seconds, but it's going to matter how they rate all of that. Do they give him the pass and the establishment of the pass early enough into that to give the points? If not, still looks likely he's going to pick up the decision win. And Elijah Dorsey will advance through to the second round of the BJJ Stars Grand Prix.
Vamos então para o grande campeão? Mais um semifinalista. Parabéns, Elijah Dorsey. Mais um semifinalista. Já temos Mica Galvao, Roberto Jimenez e agora Elijah Dorsey.
Elijah Dorsey picking up the win, advancing to the semifinals. He's our third semifinalist here at BJJ Stars 15. It was the aggressive top work from Big Breakfast Elijah Dorsey getting it done. You see him jumping into the guard there. He had kind of a fearless passing style tonight, if I might say so. He really attacked that guard very, very well. It was that late work that was ultimately so important, but you see him there knee sliding out to the side and then trying to establish himself from north-south. Putting on the pressure, putting on the squeeze like only Big Breakfast can. Certainly had his Wheaties this morning. Here you see him making his way to the far side, which causes the turtle. Very impactful sequence here in the match. Paganini eventually going to get his back to the mat, but it's still going to be a pass into the mount for Elijah Dorsey. He controlled the fight from the top position here. He is moving into the semifinals where he's going to take on Mica Galvao. This is the ADCC match that we didn't see. It was happening on the other side of the bracket. This is the only ADCC semifinalist from 2024 that Mika has yet to face, so I think it's a very interesting fight for these two to take each other on. Remember, he's beaten guys like Dante, he's beaten guys like JT, he's beaten guys like Nicky Ryan, and now he picks up the win over Rafael Paganini. Elijah Dorsey is a force to be reckoned with, not just the 185-pound class, but any bracket he gets into. We're going to be back soon here.
Vambora, gente. Vamos dar continuidade, então, ao BJJ Stars. 15ª edição, maior evento de lutas casadas do mundo. Vocês estão curtindo? Bora, então, gente.
Guys,
Bora
we are
continuar,
back
porque
here
a
at
gente
BJJ
tem
Stars
mais uma
15. The Middleweight Grand Prix is
agora.
almost complete. We have
Oferecimento
one more
Spaten,
quarterfinal going on. It is going to be
representando
a
equipe
rematch
New
of a WNO match
Wave.
where Oliver
Bem-vindo,
Taza is going to take on
Oliver Taza.
Jonatas Gracie. Gracie ranked number 2 in the world. Oliver Taza also ranked in the world. These guys are two of the best in any weight that they ever compete at. Cannot wait to have them on the mat here. Winner is going to take on Roberto Jimenez in a huge semifinal. Jonatas, who's coming to the mat right now? Big dog Oliver Taza coming to the mat. The New Wave product, the John Danaher disciple, who has had a really underrated career where he has picked up some enormous wins in ADCC so many times at this point. One of the best leg lockers in the division. Tough guy, really known for his escapes, known for some of his grappling creativity. Great in being able to pull into legs. We saw at ADCC where he was able to tap out former ADCC champion Davi Ramos with an incredible knee bar. And Oliver is really just an underrated guy in terms of what he's able to offer at the top level. I think that he is a danger to absolutely everybody. But he has a really tough matchup here for him tonight, not just in terms of stature, but I also think stylistically. Jonatas Gracie, his pressure passing, his power, his just physical presence is so much, it's so difficult for so many of these guys to deal with. He has a really crazy story where he had to really pull himself up out of some really tough times. We started to find out a little bit more about that last year. And this guy has really worked hard. Now he's out representing AOJ from Costa Mesa, California, working every day with some very tough guys like Fabiuri, like some more guys that are out there, Felipe Andrew, for example. He is someone who brings really strong wrestling, really strong top game, really strong everywhere. He's won a lot of really big tournaments. He's beaten a lot of big names doing it. This is a guy that is one of the favorites to win this tournament for a reason.
Vambora para mais combate aqui no BJJ Stars. Mais uma semifinal. Oliver Taza versus Jonatas Gracie. Árbitro André Bastos. Boa luta.
Let's see it. I'm interested to see what the strategies are going to be for both these guys, because both these guys are able to get it done everywhere. I feel like Taza, a little bit more known as a guard puller and a leg locker, and you do see that early. He's going to take a nice, good attempt at that leg early, trying to find some way into some kind of entanglement. If he's able to get there, he can finish the show on anybody in the world. He's absolutely a killer when he gets to those leg lock positions. And something I like about him is he's really leveled up his wrestling over the years as well, right? Jonatas does have very strong wrestling. He has very strong everything because he's a very strong person. But Oliver has really developed his wrestling over the last few years, and that combined with his guard play has made him a very dangerous person to deal with. Jonatas, of course, very dangerous person to deal with, the WNO middleweight champion, making his way on top here, working from this leg drag position. He's pretty safe here as they start to reset everything into the center. Like we were talking about earlier, it's pretty much impossible to fully reset a position exactly how it was. Somebody's always going to win and lose the reset. You usually figure that out pretty early. It looks like Taza did a good job of being able to get his hips back into the equation here and start to frame away. But Gracie's still on top, still able to lock down. When you see this guy up close, the back muscles on this guy looks like a Ninja Turtle. It's unbelievable. He's absolutely yoked. He's got muscles in places I don't even have places. But Taza doing a good job of starting to work his way underneath now. There's definitely some danger in these kind of positions when you get in here with Oliver Taza. See Oliver starting to control both legs, actually, even though he doesn't really have a good lock with his own legs. One of his arms is scooping an ankle. One of the other arms is framing on that far leg. So there are going to be some options here for him if he can just kind of kip his hips free and start to make something happen there. Pulls that leg across. It is almost like a very modified reverse close guard. Jonatas doing a lot to just kind of hold on, maybe drain the position, as Oliver is able to finally square back up. Deep underhook with that left arm from Gracie. You don't see that very often in no-gi. It's a very common gi tactic, almost like an over-under pass, but it's a little bit less common to see that here in the gi, but he has such a background in no-gi and he has such physical power. He's able to make a lot of those things happen as he starts to push through the guard and settle his way into it. Now he's got a good body lock. Once he connects his hands, and he just unlocked, but I think he just reconnected actually. Once he connects his hands, very difficult to deal with this. Jonatas has won 34 of his last 36 matches as we cut over to Victor Doria and the boys for a second. And he earns his way to a very strong pinning position where Oliver is going to have to carry his weight. Here's where the strategy comes in. Wow, great reversal from Oliver Taza, like we talked about, his escaping ability. Man, Jonatas is going to be looking back at the film and wondering, man, should I park there for 30 seconds until the points came in and then tried to make my move for the pass, but he was trying to just make it happen. Got to respect it. They get their way back up to the feet. You saw Oliver give him a little smile. I think that's almost to say, like, hey, man, I escaped out of a bad – you thought you were going to pin me for a long time there, but I was able to get out. Now they're wrestling. 3:30 on the clock. That means points are active. That means neither man is going to be able to pull without a penalty. If they're able to shoot their way into a takedown and then pull, then it can start to be a kind of a thing. But I think this one's going to have to be decided here on the feet. Because I also really, the action that's happened so far is definitely for Jonatas, but not overwhelmingly so. Oliver is definitely in this match right now, and a couple good exchanges can put him in the lead. Throw by attempt for Jonatas, but both guys staying at a far distance. Good blast double from Taza. Meets the heavy hips of Jonatas, who digs in an underhook and tries to throw it by. They go off the mat. Gracie has the front headlock. I don't know if they're going to let him have that when they come back. But good action from both men. That was Taza shooting. That was Jonatas re-shooting through with that knee tap, not able to make it happen. We reset totally. Taza of that New Wave program. Usually that means strong underhooks, a lot of foot sweeps, very heavy collar ties, trying to pull the person's head down to exhaust them as early as possible, right? Shooting in. If Taza wants to pull now, he would be allowed to under ADCC rules without getting a negative. But Gracie deep in this sprawl, hips on the mat. And Gracie dangerous from the front headlock, so Taza can't hang out here and just expect everything to be totally fine, even though both arms are inside the lock, so it's unlikely there's submission danger now. That can change pretty quick, and this is definitely a position where he's carrying a very heavy 83-kilo guy. Winner of this match going to take on Roberto Jimenez here later tonight on FloGrappling. If you're on the YouTube stream, we're going to be ending the match stream soon. Make your way over to FloGrappling if you want to see everything else that's going on. Even in Brazil, everything is exclusively on FloGrappling now as part of our new deal. So really excited to see you guys over there. We're going to have the semifinals and finals of this bracket. We're going to have all the big major key super matches. As you see Gracie get his way to top position, look for the submission. Once he gets his hands locked, it is a tough, tough thing to deal with. But not able to, you see the pressure starting to come back in from Jonatas as he starts to impose himself on this match. I think Taza needs to open and make something happen if he wants to win this. Otherwise, it's definitely going to be a Jonatas victory on the decision. Taza needs something that's going to change up the pace and tenor of this match. Resetting back to the center, 30 seconds left. Both men tired, been a difficult match. Taza wants the pace. He's the first one back to the center. Gracie thumb posted in the open guard, not opening up too much, and Taza not happy about that. So it is going to be a little interesting to see how the referees and judges ultimately view this. I think Jonatas probably did the majority of the best work, but definitely took his foot off the gas late. And so I think that is going to be something to watch when we hit the judges. Oliver is kind of pleading his case right now, you can see. But I don't know, it comes down to what were you able to effectively do. Winner going to take on Roberto. Let's see what the judges decide. difficult outing for both men. You can see a lot of improvement in Taz's game because when they took each other on at who's number one, it was not as this is a very narrow match. It was not as narrow then. He's narrowed that gap, right? And so I think that that's really a credit to Taza and how much he continues to evolve, put in that hard work. One of the most hardworking guys that I ever see when I'm bouncing gym to gym. Absolutely a stud. Jonatas, also absolutely a physical specimen. Great jiu-jitsu. Has won 34 of his last 36 matches like we talked about. Our who's number one middleweight champion, looking to add a BJJ Stars title to that and pick up some enormous wins if he's able to get there. Coming back to the center, let's see what we get.
O vencedor dessa luta, que vai para a semifinal, é Oliver Taza.
Wow. And it is Oliver Taza picking up the upset decision win over Jonatas Gracie, the who's number one champion, here in the first round of BJJ Stars 15. That is the upset of the first round. It was his guard play. It was his initiations that they liked a little bit more. Jonatas didn't do himself any favors. Late there, holding on. So it's ultimately going to be Taza getting the win after a lot of great work from Gracie as well. He's got every right to feel like he did a lot of great stuff in that fight. But let's take a look through this. There you see the single leg, Taza trying to counter his way into that same roll that he hit on Ramos, not able to get it done. Gracie able to wrestle him down, able to pin him down, able to use a lot of pressure over a long period of time, but ultimately wasn't able to do anything with those positions submission-wise. Here you see him going off the mat after Taza's big double leg there to initiate things and get things started there. It was just a lot of back and forth on this match. Taza in on the legs there again. He was the one shooting, I felt like, a little bit more, especially later into the match once the points got going. Maybe that was very important to things, but ultimately that's how things go here tonight. So it's going to be Mica Galvao taking on Elijah Dorsey. It is going to be Oliver Taza taking on Roberto Jimenez in the next round. I don't believe either of those pairings have ever fought before, so that's the first time ever for both of them. Going to be super exciting. We're going to be back here soon.